I experienced several things that I wasn't prepared to experience.
If you press this button, the memory leaves. Would you press it or not?
No way. Dealing with rejection it's like a process, an understanding.
If you had to go back and change one moment in your life, what would it be? Before we start this episode, I would like to ask you one favor only. I'm going to barter with you this time. If you like this episode, please leave a like and subscribe, obviously, because 79% of you don't subscribe. So please subscribe. It's free knowledge. So hit that red button down below. Another episode on the Champions Connect podcast. And today we are here with a psychotherapist, a lifestyle strategist, and the founder of self-development agency, A Life I Choose. Emma Hogg, thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thanks. Today is a bit different because we usually go on to the stories and to the fun part of life. But I think today you're here to help the audience figure out what life truly is, right?
Okay, that's quite big, but thank you.
Yes, obviously it hasn't been a long time coming, I must say, but I've been following you for quite a while, and your knowledge that you can provide today is exceptional. So, as I said, thanks for coming. We're going to open up by stating the why. Why did you start helping people, giving out knowledge? Go for it.
When I was in my teens, I struggled a lot in the sense of I was a very deeply feeling kid. I was very sensitive to people's emotions, and I felt very like my emotions were big. And it was, I found it very difficult to navigate. There wasn't a lot of information out there at the time about how to manage emotions. Our parents' generation didn't have much education on this either. It was when the internet just came out.
Boomed for the information.
Not yet. It was
Okay.
more like chat rooms and stuff like that. But there was this new technology which was like sort of infiltrating our lives. I got quite lost on it, and it led me to some quite dark places, stuff that I wasn't prepared for, being so young. Stuff that like that, so not damaged me, no, but sort of at the time damaged me. I've healed. But I ended up with an eating disorder for a few years, and I went into quite a severe depression. So it was really tough, and I was very, very lucky in that my parents sent me to therapy at a very young age. And this was at a time when therapy was not cool at all. There was something very wrong with you to go to therapy. So a lot of, people tried to talk my parents out of it, kind of thing. But my parents really trusted their gut, and felt this was what I needed. And I'm very lucky because, one, it saved my life. And two, I found my calling.
You can say.
Completely.
May I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
What was the age that you were sent to therapy?
13.
13, so it was a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's easy at that age to obviously share your emotions either, because you can't express as much as you want to, no?
No, but that's the whole point of therapy, that you go in not needing to have the skills, and you learn the skills through the therapist. The therapist teaches you to understand what's happening within your body, what you're feeling, where it's coming from, what it's trying to tell you. So it's a process.
Obviously, speaking to someone, so you're sitting in a room
Mm-hmm.
with someone you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and you're telling them about your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, because I'm not saying I passed through it. I never went, but from what I understood and what I did my research about is
Mm-hmm.
you're sharing an experience with someone you don't trust as much yet.
Yeah.
So it's not easy.
No. And in fact, the foundation of therapy is building that trust. It's important that in the beginning of anybody's therapeutic journey, that you see your therapist consistently, so frequently.
What's the process?
Well,
Frequently.
every therapist does it differently. Some psychoanalysts, for example, will insist that you're in there once a week, if not twice a week.
Okay.
With my clients, I like to do once every 2 weeks, for example. This gives them the space to process. And also I bring in a coaching element as well. And with coaching, you have homework as the client. So you need some time to do the homework, to take the risk, to put yourself out there in any way that you challenged yourself to do that. And then to come back to the next session and tell me like how it went, you know? Yeah, everybody has their own process, but it's important that for the first year at least, preferably 2 years, there needs to be frequency, there needs to be consistency, because that's when you're really building trust. And the foundation of the therapeutic relationship is trust, because the more that you feel safe with me as the therapist, the more you're going to allow yourself to express yourself, meaning we can get to the roots of things, not necessarily quicker, but it will be more impactful for you. So trust is everything.
Can you give us, in one sentence, a summary of what you do?
Yeah. So basically what I do is I work with people to boost their quality of life.
A scenario in the situation. I'm a footballer. Okay, I'm passing through an experience that I can't speak to anyone about, and I give you a call. What's the process of you helping me in the situation?
So first I would understand what's the major challenge that you're facing at the moment, like what's going on. I would want to understand how it's impacting your life, like how it's impacting you emotionally, how that's then impacting your relationships or your ability to stick to your goals. I'll create a strategy with you, basically, like we work session to session to get to that point. But in order to get to that point, you need to work through resistances. There's a reason that we don't all have the perfect life that we
imagine,
that we want. First of all, life isn't supposed to be perfect. That's just a fantasy. And it's nice to have that fantasy because it drives you to improve. And one of our fundamental human needs is the need for growth. So it's important to have like fantasies for how you want your
goals,
life to be.
milestones, etc.
Exactly. But also, you need to remember that life is your co-creator. You're not doing this on your own.
Exactly.
Life's going to send you curveballs. It's going to challenge you. And I think that's the beauty of life. So yes, I work with my clients to integrate all of this, to make sense of their lives, of what's going on, to help them to find themselves in it, because life can be so confusing and so overwhelming, no matter what age you are. Whether you're a kid, a teen, an adult, like life is full on. It can be very full on. And so it's very important to find yourself within it, because you can very easily lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, then you're going to experience a real low quality of life, because you're not going to feel aligned. You're not going to feel fulfilled. You're not going to feel loved, because you're not honoring yourself. You're self-abandoning at that point. What I learned through my struggle with eating disorders was that if you're not in alignment with yourself, if you are not on your side, because of shame, because of not being able to forgive yourself for past experiences or whatever, you're going to have a really hard time. Everything's going to feel harder because it affects your mindset. It affects the way your body works. It affects everything. So we need to work on alignment. That's the main thing, alignment.
That's the main goal that you want to achieve.
Absolutely.
For your client. In real estate, you can either follow the crowd or be coached by the best. Elite is the #1 platform for agents who want more. More deals, more growth, and more leadership. It's not just a real estate agency, it's a launchpad with real training, real support, and a community that pushes you to your peak. If you're serious about becoming an agent, join Elite now and become the agent others chase. Let's get back to the pod. May I ask, because you're mentioning obviously a problem that occurred in your life. What happened for this to occur? What was the situation? Would you like to?
I smiled because it's only young people who ask this question, and I appreciate it because young people have the balls to ask. And you're sort of less conditioned. What happened to trigger it? A lot of different things happened to trigger it. I won't go into every detail.
No problem.
Because it's very private to me. But I experienced several things that I wasn't prepared to experience. I had very little guidance at the time to help me to make sense of them. You know, kind of, there's no such thing as, like I have a son, right? He's 4 years old. And like my biggest wish for him as a parent is that he has a good life, right? And that he doesn't like experience too much trauma. But I am not in control of that. I'm in control of it up to a certain extent, right? So I can like obviously like hold his hand when we're walking for as long as the 4-year-old wants, you know, cooperates. But you know, I can prevent certain traumas from happening, but I can't prevent all traumas. And life is challenging. So I know that my kid is going to go through some really tough stuff in his life. It's inevitable.
If you had,
Yeah.
imagine there's an invincible button
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And if you press this button, the memory leaves. And all that came with it goes away with it too.
Yeah.
Would you have pressed it or no?
No way. No way. No way. Like our biggest challenges are like their character building.
So you don't regret one bit?
No way. I never would have become a therapist had I not gone through those experiences, you know? They taught me so much. The thing was, I was too young. I was too young to kind of like make sense of what was happening. That's the main thing. And there are some people out there who really don't give a fuck about your wellness, you know? They don't...
Exactly. It's all about them in a way.
You know, they're there to kind of like take advantage of the young, and this was what hurt me. I wasn't expecting, but I recovered. I'm like so much stronger now, you know, so like thank you, you know, kind of for whatever. And I leave it with them, you know, I leave it with them. They were not in the right mind space and made some very bad choices.
Moving on to rejection, the part of rejection, okay? Rejection is one of those things that lives quietly inside us, but loudly shapes how we see ourselves. How do you personally deal with rejection?
Depends on the level of the rejection, I
let's
think.
Let's say relationship-wise rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into that.
Mm-hmm.
Breakup, heartbreak.
Well, it hurts, obviously. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. A lot of compassion, you know, the feeling comes up and it sucks and it's awful, you know, you feel sad and disappointed and rejected, hurt, maybe angry sometimes. Just making space for the emotion, like, you know, and just knowing it's a process. Just let it come up. I have compassion for myself as it comes up. Like, yes, of course it sucks. Anyone would feel this way. Talk about it if I need to talk about it to someone I feel safe with, you know, who I trust. And then get back to having a good time, living my life, you know, because it's never a good idea to stay in it for too long.
Exactly, in the bubble.
So usually I'll give myself an amount of time, like, okay, you can wallow for a little bit and then we're out, you know? Like I like to use exercise in that way, kind of like, okay, so you have until your exercise class to feel bad, and by the end of the class, you're going to feel better. And maybe not 100% better, but at least 25% better. You know, and then usually I'll feel like 35% better, which is great.
Is this steps a person must take to handle rejection in a way of, for example, job loss, injury that's going to last a really long time and it rejects you from different things? As I said, relationships. Is there particular steps you would take?
Well, you have to look at the individual, right? And you have to look at like the individual case of the rejection, like, you know, because the way you tackle rejection due to injury is different to how you would tackle rejection because you found out your partner has been having an affair with somebody else for the past 3 years, kind of thing. It's very much a process of trying to find acceptance in a really shitty situation, which is one of the hardest things to do. But it's a fundamental human skill to be able to accept that life isn't 100% the way you want it to be, and to understand the parts that you are in control of and the parts that you're not. It's because the parts that you're not in control of, you can let go and make room for, and the parts that you are in control of, then you can create something different, you can move forward. So a lot of dealing with rejection it's like a process, an understanding, okay, like, compassion? How did it affect you? What's going on? How are you feeling? And what do you want?
And how do we figure out what actually matters to us in a way?
Good question. So there are studies that show there are sort of fundamental human, it's a bit controversial maybe what I'm going to say, because a lot of people will disagree, but there are certain truths that come up over and over again, that, family matters, that community matters, that meaningful relationships matter, but also what I've seen is that kind of, it also sort of priorities shift throughout the lifespan. And I'm curious to see what I continue to learn, because, I don't work with people I haven't yet worked with clients in their 60s, for example. I've obviously been exposed to humans in their 60s, and I have a lot of communication with them, so I have some understanding, but clients, not yet. So, but what I see is that kind of when you're like in your 20s, the ego is strong, and it's developing, and it's building. It's building, It's like, okay, I want to build something. I want to build a legacy, or I want to build a business, or I want to build a family, or I want to build whatever. Like, kind of, there's this like build kind of thing going on. And then in the sort of 30s, 40s, there's a little bit of like an existential rearranging happening, where people start to kind of question, like, oh, like I thought this was really important, and now like actually that I have it, I'm not so sure that it matters to me so much anymore. Like, the way that somebody would have picked their partner, for example, maybe they picked a partner that, maybe gave them a lot of financial security, but now they're looking at their partner and they're saying, I don't connect with you at all. Like, kind of like you don't listen, or you don't, like, there's no interest in like paying attention or whatever. So there's like this sort of existential rearranging that happens. And sometimes it's also, I thought my life was going to be this way. I thought I was going to have 4 children, for example, and actually I have no children, and I have no husband, like, and,
Exactly.
This,
mentioning this, you mentioned that obviously values change, and also decisions change. When it comes to family building, sometimes you lose love for your partner, no? How did before?
As in, it's becoming more and more normal for couples to separate.
Exactly. Not going for a longer route.
Yeah.
What's going on in a way? Like, what do you see from your clients' response?
I mean, first of all, women have more freedom than they used to. So, in the 60s, there was this whole revolution, the sexual revolution, and, the pill came about, and so women had more sexual freedom. So they had more than one partner, which sort of gave them options. And also during the Industrial Revolution, women went out to work, so they had their own money then. So women have more choice. They don't have to settle for something that they're not happy with, which is a positive thing overall. But also our mindset around things has shifted a lot culturally.
Is it
like culturally, okay. Like sort of like
general
almost globally, like with technology, the shift in technology, things come to us so much more easily. We're so used to things being convenient. So, for example, you can turn on your AC before you get home, so that when you get home it's nice and cool. You can order your food to be at your house within the next 30 minutes. You can find a date for tonight online, and you can literally swipe according to how they look and then pick. We're used to kind of getting things very, very easily, and the truth is that relationships are not easy. Long-term relationships are not easy. Even relationships with kids, we sort of glorify having kids, like, kind of like it's a beautiful thing. And it is. It's one of the most meaningful experiences a human being can have.
Exactly.
And I think we'll go into this more later.
Yes.
Feelings, it's a lot like working out and doing a really, really hard workout. When you're doing a really hard workout, you don't want to be there.
Exactly.
Like, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
Your body's like, fuck off,
Exactly.
like, get me out of this situation. And sometimes your brain wants to run away. You'll start imagining you're not even there, like, you know.
Like at home, relaxed, you know.
You lose presence.
Exactly.
And in fact, I always have my brother's voice in my head. Full concentration. Full concentration.
Just for you to know, Andrew Hogg is her brother, so he was, I think, our third guest on the podcast. So.
Okay. If you apply this skill to relationships as well, it's like, okay, like, it's really uncomfortable right now. And it sucks. But I trust that we both have positive intent. And I'm not saying this is applicable to every single relationship, because there are some situations where people don't have positive intent.
Exactly.
But in most relationships, you know, kind of there is positive intent. And it's like, okay, I'm going to bring compassion to this situation right now, you know, like we were both under pressure. We both wanted the best. We misunderstood each other. We pushed each other's buttons. Our ego defenses got in the way, you know, and we really triggered each other. Okay. It's understandable that people don't want it to be the way it used to be, where it was like you're married and even if it's a crap situation, you're stuck with it, you know? No, like we know that we have choice now and we can shift it. But it needs, maybe we swung a little bit too far to the other side.
Exactly.
No, I'm good. Does that part of your t-shirt show?
Yep. Highly, so.
Get a blow dryer.
Anyway, I came across a conversation. I forgot who I was speaking to exactly. And he mentioned something that hit me a bit. It was around 6 months ago. He said, never take decisions in high emotional moments.
Mm-hmm.
Which it hit me hard.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, I sat down and I thought about what I have to say. Then I say it.
The thing about high emotional moments is that you have way more blood flow going to your limbic system, so your emotional center of the brain, where your amygdala is, and that is the fear center of the brain. And what happens when that is happening, where the limbic system is very, very, very activated, is that your prefrontal cortex switches off. It doesn't get as much blood flow. And your prefrontal cortex, which is here, is responsible for integration. It touches every part of the brain.
Okay.
And it gets information from all of it, and it makes sense. So when your brain is in a calm state, you can reason things out. You can have compassion for another human being. You can see things from their perspective. You can also forward think. You can think ahead, make a plan. Now, the prefrontal cortex is fully developed at around the age of 23, in boys sometimes 24.
Okay.
So this is why you see, for example, like more reckless behavior in teens, because they can't forward think so much, but their limbic systems are quite like,
Exactly.
you know,
On
full on. And also like in toddlers, for example, and young kids, you know, young kids hit each other and they whatever, because they don't have that sort of
what happens next, in a way.
They don't have that part of the brain. Like, for example, young boys, they've got high testosterone, and then these like they don't have prefrontal cortexes working yet, so they're running all over the place, and it's very difficult to control them, kind of thing. You know, they're hitting each other and whatever. If you want to make positive decisions, you want your prefrontal cortex to be in charge.
Is there any way you can practice this?
Yes, for sure. So your breath is your anchor.
Okay.
Because when the brain needs oxygen to feel safe.
To start off.
Yeah. So when you have enough oxygen, you can you feel safe and you can think. And the prefrontal cortex switches on and the limbic system quietens. But when your brain is deprived of oxygen, it thinks, oh my God, like this is a dangerous situation. So your limbic system is going to be going crazy so that you take action, right? It's fight or flight. It's like, what do I need to do here? Do I need to run? Do I need to fight? And sometimes we freeze because we really don't know what to do. Your breath is your anchor. So definitely that's the main thing to taking decisions calmly, like taking better decisions.
We all want change, and we all want it fast. New body, new mindset, new habits. But real change, it's not a switch, it's a system. Reflex Gym gives you that system. The space, the structure, the support. Whether you're getting started or pushing for the next level, Reflex is where progress happens. Built on hard work, backed by community. Visit Reflex Gym on their website, reflex.com.mt. Let's get back to the pod. I hear many people state change in many different situations. And I wrote down this quote, okay? Change doesn't start with motivation. It starts with the moment you admit you're tired of your own patterns. Which is a very, very good one in my opinion. What does real change actually acquire?
Well, you nailed it. So basically what that quote is alluding to is the pain and pleasure principle. Have you heard of the pain and pleasure principle before?
But it sounds interesting, so
it is interesting.
Sit down here and listen to it.
So basically our brains all subscribe to the pain and pleasure principle. We all want to seek pleasure, but we all want to avoid pain. And this serves us biologically, because pain can mean illness, it can mean death, right? So you want to avoid pain as much as possible. And when you feel pain, you want to pay attention to it, because it's the body telling you, hello, there's something going on here, like kind of pay attention to me. Exactly. So what happens when these two get into conflict, or rather, let me change it, going back to the quote.
Yes.
It's saying you need to get sick of your own patterns, right? So in other words, that your own pattern is bringing you enough discomfort, enough pain, that you're willing to make a change. Because sometimes you might tell yourself, okay, like I want a better body, like I want to be fitter, I want to be healthier, but it requires going to the gym. Going to the gym isn't easy. It's like, well, I need to lift weights, like, and I need to like move my body and get sweaty, and I need to wake up earlier, and where am I going to fit this into my schedule? And it's like pain. And the pain feels very imminent and the pleasure feels very far away. And then you're going to be like, forget it, I'm not doing it, not worth it. But if you can make the pleasure feel more present and the pain more bearable, so if you can kind of like really visualize how you want to feel healthier, like as in like you close your eyes and you see yourself, and what do you see? Like you see yourself like throwing your kids up in the air, or you see yourself like with a body you're really proud of and wearing clothes you feel really good in, and you see yourself healthy, feeling good. And then you ask yourself, like, why? Like, why does this matter to me? Like, why do I want this? Is it just so people will look at me? Because maybe that will give you a little bit of motivation. But, you need to tap into, like, what's the fuel? Like, where's my fuel in this? Because, yes, there's going to be pain points. So I need to have fuel there to keep me going. So, okay, what's the fuel? So things like maybe, and for everyone it's different. But like for me, a big motivator for going to the gym is I want to be strong in as I start to age, like,
Exactly.
Like I'm hitting 40. So I know that in my 40s, menopause will come, and then with menopause, some of my muscle mass will go, and, and then it's like, but the better prepared I am for it, probably, because I base my actions on probability, not possibility.
Exactly, makes sense.
I will have a better time navigating aging, and hopefully I will be more energetic. I will have more energy to be present for my family and my kids and my clients, and enjoy my life more, because, I can move and I feel mobile and I still feel good, and I, all of that. And also, there's all of the mood boosting effects. So this is my why behind exercising. And that gets me out of bed in the morning, right? To face the pain, because there are some mornings I wake up, I'm like, why? Why did I book this? But now I've done exercise enough that my body associates it with feeling good. So it associates it with pleasure. So now it's a habit.
I think one of the biggest, because you mentioned fuel, which is very important, and people trust motivation a lot, which is it dies down quick. Motivation dies down quick. And I saw this documentary, I forgot which documentary it was around 6 months ago as well, and it was about a serial killer. Okay, the serial killer who killed he used to focus on kids,
Oh, lovely.
Terrible.
Okay.
And he stated this, and it stuck with me as well. Before choosing the kid to kill, he used to focus on the parents. So if the parent was super strong, tough, looked in a really great physique, the mother was dressed nice, he didn't used to touch them.
Okay.
But if the parents looked a bit slacky, you know, not well dressed, excuse me, immediate
Why?
attack. Because obviously it's and in fact I'm gonna go back to this. If your values aren't chosen, they're inherited.
Yeah.
So if the father looks strong, the kid obviously is seeing a strong father, a strong family, a strong mother, you know, a good family. So I think it was all about protection. And I think protection is super important for the kid as well. So the story around it is that if you're a strong mother, the kid's gonna inherit it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was the story behind what I wanted to explain in a way of what I read from the
I
documentary.
understand you. Yeah, yeah.
Which hit me, you know. I was like, listen, if I come to have kids, they need a strong father, you know. So.
Yes, but there's a little hook to that, or trick to that, or hack to that. I don't know what to call it, but you can model a certain way of living to your kids. Your kids only inherit your values. Well, I don't know if it's only, but the way that they really inherit your values is when they feel bonded with you, when they feel connected with you.
Is it by time? Is it by time?
No, it's not just a matter of time, because you can be a parent to your kid for years and years and still have no bond with them. The bond comes through prioritizing your children, not prioritizing them above everything else so that then they think that they're God's gift to the universe, because then you raise a tyrant, but to prioritize them in your time, and to want to spend time with them, and to be curious about your children, and to want to get to know them.
I asked you this question before, where I told you that we don't take actions in high emotional moments. But sometimes we always go on the same loop of emotional situations. How can we act on that? Because we're always in the same loop of taking decisions with the same emotional feeling. But there has to be a stop. How can I handle that?
That's a really good question. So basically, we sort of learn emotional loops in childhood. So it's modeled to us from our parents, emotional loops. So that sort of sets the tone, right? So if your mom tends to be quite anxious, you'll learn that. Or you might learn to soothe her, so to not have any needs so that she doesn't get more anxious. It just depends on your temperament, on what's happening, on what we call it in Gestalt psychotherapy, we call it creative adjustment. Everybody has a creative adjustment to their environment in order to survive within the environment. So you learn a pattern unconsciously, and the patterns that stick will be rewarded. So, for example, you might have someone who gets down and sulky. And when they get down and sulky, the parents...
The vibe, energy.
The parents pay more attention. Whoa, sweetheart, what's wrong? Like, you know, whereas when she doesn't get down and sulky, the parents are busy and they're doing their own thing, and, you know, they have lives and blah, 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 blah. And so the child learns, unconsciously. It's not like they're like, you know...
masterminds.
Manipulatively, you know, designing this. But unconsciously, the body learns, okay, when I go to this space, my need for love is met. So I'll go to this space again, it works. And this happens as well with like illness, for example, you know. There are some people who experience a lot of pain in their bodies and so on and so forth, and it's like a learned behavior. It's not something they choose. It's not something they chose at all, but it's a learned behavior. It's like, oh, when I'm in pain, for example, finally I matter, you know, and I can take time out and I can say no to you and I don't have to show up, you know. So we learn patterns. And you might be, you know, on the brink of adulthood kind of thing, you know, and you're realizing, you're paying attention and you're noticing I have a pattern and it really doesn't serve me. Or you might be well into your adulthood and be like, you know, I noticed this pattern that shows up for me in my marriage, like me, you know, with this fantasy of, oh, it would be so much easier if I left, you know. And then, you know, kind of it's not about like eradicating the fantasy or making it so that the emotion never comes up again, or that the fantasy never comes up again. But it's about, you know, when you develop self-awareness and you can see your own patterns, you're not just in them, then you have choice. That's why my self-development agency is called A Life I Choose. It's about choice. When you have no self-awareness and you just function from an unconscious place, whose life are you living? You're living something you've been designed to live, you know, but not by you. So the beauty of the work that my clients and I do together is that we redesign, and we do it intentionally. It's like, okay, you have this pattern and it's screwing you over. Okay, you're snappy and you shout at your partner, or you have difficulty staying in a job or whatever. Okay, let's understand what you do want, and let's look at what's getting in the way. Like, what leads you to that point of snapping? Like, how do you get there? You know, or when you go to this fantasy, what do you then do? Do you push away? Like, and then what does that lead? Does it bring him closer? Because I think in reality you want him closer, no? Like, yeah, I want him closer, but, you know, my inner child learned, I push you away, and then eventually I'll get your attention, you know? So it's about like then re-experimenting. And this is why I said, you know, 2-week gap. It gives my clients a time to experiment. And literally their job is to experiment.
I was going through your course. I was going through the description of your course, and I found this really interesting. So
the Create Your Kick-Ass Career course.
Yes, and even the name of it, you know, it wants you to, let's start.
Totally.
Why did you publish this?
My why?
What's your why for this?
So when I was creating my career, like when I started, I had such a passion for psychotherapy, but it wasn't something that we went taught. How do you get clients? How do you make this into a profitable thing? Profitable as in like, how do you make it like sustainable, like, you know, kind of that you can live off it.
Exactly.
Weren't taught any of this. And so for the first like year and a half, I was really lost, like, and I felt really frustrated because I wanted to work with clients and I wanted to be financially independent. I decided to invest in my learning. And that was when I went to Tony Robbins and I looked into my beliefs around making money, around career, whether I was capable or not, so on and so forth. And I invested in having my own coach and basically creating strategies, not them telling me what to do, but them asking me the questions that I needed to reflect on. And then you create the strategy, you take action. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but eventually you get somewhere. And then I created a life I choose grew really fast, like, and it started to do really well, and I became fully booked with private practice and so on and so forth. And a lot of my clients were coming to me to figure out like how to create a career that they're passionate about, but that also earns money, or that has flexibility so that they can spend time with their kids.
Exactly. So who do you suggest purchase this?
So I have different types of people who do the course. A lot of them are moms who, like, they want to be present with their kids, but they also want to do the thing they're passionate about and earn their own money. And then a lot of them are coming out of uni or don't want to go to uni, but they want to do something that is meaningful to them and they want to be successful at it. They want to put themselves out there. But, you know, it takes some thinking, some designing, some you know, it needs some intentional thought. And so basically the course walks you through that process. We start with getting very clear on what it is that you want for your career. Then we go into the self-belief and then we start strategizing. For your listeners, if anybody wants to try out this course, first of all, they can get the first module for free.
All right, super.
Just by subscribing. So perhaps you can link it below your show notes.
It's in the description below.
And then if you decide you'd like to purchase the course, you can get a 10% discount on it for the next 2 weeks with the code CC10.
Perfect. You just gave us, all of us, a chance to purchase this course. So thank you so much. And
thank you too.
You should thank her because this is all because You can build your kick-ass career. So go for it. And I love the title of it.
Thank you.
It's quite harsh, but it's like you have to manage. Okay, let's move on to confidence. 'Cause I think this is a part where I excel the most in my personal life.
Okay.
I was a very insecure person, as I say in multiple podcasts. 3 years ago, I was locked in my room, literally, very loner, can I say? But now I just like, fuck it. I am who I am. Go for it. If I make a mistake on live television, which I did multiple times, if I don't know, make mistakes, I laugh it off. I build on it. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read a quote that I wrote down. Confidence isn't just about being loud. It's about feeling calm in your own skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which I think it's a super quote. The question is, what does your confidence look like? And how is it built? Many different people build confidence differently. I'm just asking this in a matter of general.
It's such a beautiful question. So, and it has different layers.
Exactly.
So let me start. So first of all, you said that you are quite secure and you go out and you're putting yourself out there in the world, and I see you at 19 years old.
Sorry, yeah?
No, I love it. You're 19 years old, you're putting yourself out there, you're willing to make mistakes because you're going to. We all do, and that's the way that we learn. And something that correct me if I'm wrong, but something that I know about you from knowing your mom is that you have a very secure attachment with your mom. Like,
yes.
You know that she loves you no matter what.
Yes.
You can fail, you can mess up, and she's going to love you still.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically what I understand from that is that your mother's version of discipline was not to remove love when she was disappointed with you. She's not going to not talk to you because you did something that's wrong, maybe for a little bit, I don't know. But my point is, you have a secure attachment. Now, for children to build confidence in the world, they need to experience the world. We don't build confidence sitting at home in our rooms alone and then, I have it now. Let me go out and build my business or build my kick-ass career, whatever it is that you want to build, my relationship, my dream relationship. It comes from putting yourself out there, making mistakes, going back, learning about it, going out again, putting yourself out there, getting some things right. Hey, that worked. Wow. Hey, look, I built that muscle, blah, blah, blah. Go back, make a mistake, learn from it, go back. It's in, out. So it's going out into the world and then going back, process it, make sense of it in your safe space. When children feel securely attached to their parents, they can do this. They can go out into the world and explore, take risk, and come back. And this builds confidence.
It all goes back, like you're discussing. I'm really enjoying this conversation. It's all values are inherited.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all coming into a circle now while we're discussing. Like,
yeah.
If your parents are a really good backbone, it pushes you much more.
And how? Now look, you can have really, really good parents. You're still not going to come out a 100% perfect human being. There's no such thing. You're going to have hang-ups. You're going to have things that you're scared of. You're going to mess up. Like, it's normal. You're human and you have human parents, right? So
sure.
Good parents does not mean perfect parents. It just means in tune, conscious, and willing to be a parent, not just have a kid, right? They want to engage with you. They want to guide you. They and they're curious. They want to play with you and be interested and take interest in some of the stuff you're interested in too. Yes. So but if you didn't necessarily always feel secure in your attachment with your parents, perhaps even though your parents loved you, they had different difficulty engaging with you, or maybe were extremely busy and didn't have much time for you, or whatever situation was going on. Or if you just find that, you lack confidence, it doesn't mean, oh, my parents did a bad job and I'm fucked, right? You can work on it. It's about, that quote is beautiful because it's about, what does he say, finding peace within yourself.
Exactly.
So I mentioned sturdiness.
In your skin. Which hits, yeah.
So I mentioned sturdiness. It's about building that kind of relationship for you with you, like your mother has with you. So like I've developed a relationship with myself where I know that I can make a mistake and I still love myself. Now, I might not be happy about what I did. I might look at it and say, what? Like, that was really stupid. That was not okay. And I'm glad that I have that relationship with myself because it's important.
Exactly.
Okay? I don't want to be a psychopath. Like, I want to be able to look at my behavior and go, no. And so we look at our behavior, but if I can do that from a space where I don't go, and because of that, I'm a terrible human being. Let me lock myself away in my room and not show myself to anybody. If I do that, I'm in trouble. Life's going to be really, really hard for me. But if I can do it from a space of, I don't like what I did. I really don't like what I did. And I'm feeling bad about it. And at the same time, I'm a good person and I did a bad thing. What can I do to make it better? I'm a good person, I did a bad thing. So basically, I've integrated that loving relationship of the parent-child within myself. I am the good parent to me. I love myself no matter what. I discipline myself. No, I can't lie in bed all day and eat popcorn and eat ice cream and things are cool. Like, I need to show up. I go to the gym. I work. I give good work to my clients, and I pay my bills and I am present with my kid and I pay my taxes.
Well. Super parent. Super parent as well.
You be a good parent to yourself. You show up, you have responsibilities. And at the same time, when you make mistakes, you own them. I messed up. And I own it from a space of, and I am still totally lovable. Let me see what I can do to repair the situation.
So we're going to go on to the quickfire questions. A small daily habit that changed your life.
Exercise.
And when you say small, because exercise obviously takes time, how long do you exercise for, approximately?
Well, it depends, but basically daily movement. So I don't go to the gym every day. And when I do go to the gym, it's either for an hour or for 45 minutes, but daily movement. So there needs to be like a 10-minute walk at least. I need to get up and move my body.
Okay.
And that makes my mind more engaged.
So you can say changed your life.
And how?
Super. Okay. A moment you felt truly seen.
Several moments. With my husband, with my therapists, a couple of moments, like a few moments here and there. Like, yes, I've had several moments.
What does peace feel like to you?
What does peace feel like to me? Knowing that I have my back, like just, yeah.
You're a strong person and you can believe in what you're going to say or what you're going to take into action.
Yeah, and knowing that even on the days when I don't feel 100%, like, it's okay. Like, I'm still, like, I'm okay. I'm there for me. Like, it's okay.
Okay. One book or quote that changed your mindset.
Rather than a book or a quote, can I say like a person
movie,
who wrote the book?
Anyway, anything else.
Tony Robbins.
All right.
Yeah.
In fact, you said the Tony Robbins before, and I think it was in COVID. We had attended his course online.
Okay, which
like,
one?
How long is it?
Unleash the Power Within. You did which one?
What are they?
He has so many.
I forgot. I think it's that.
Unleash the Power Within is 4 days. I think you did it with your mom.
Exactly.
No?
It was long, like 6 hours. 6
Longer.
hours.
I remember we were there for like.
No,
really
each
long.
day.
Like, yes, I know. I think, but when I went in person, we were there for. I don't even know, like 11 hours a day.
Something like that, exactly. It's super. He has different guests. I remember the guy who has no feet, no arms. I forgot his name.
I never saw this guy.
Super. I forgot his name, but he's a motivation speaker as well.
Okay.
What's one truth people avoid but need to hear?
That your goal in life shouldn't be happiness. It should be meaning. Like, live a life where you have choice and you have meaning. But it's not to be happy all the time. And that, yes, relationships sometimes are hard.
Okay. Last question. Something you wish more people understood about failure.
That it hurts. that it hurts. It's not supposed to not hurt. It's supposed to hurt. And that's positive. Because it's when you hurt, that pain and pleasure principle, when you feel the pain, so long as you have enough love and compassion for yourself, you can fix it, or you can repair it in some way. You can learn from that failure. But if you're going to pretend you didn't fail because you can't handle that difficult emotion, you can't learn anything because you can't own it.
Exactly.
So to stay with the difficult emotion, that's the trick of everything. Learn to stay.
I actually skipped one, and this, I think, is one of the best questions. What's something you're still working on internally?
I'm working on stuff all the time. My need for perfection, my wish to be liked. So I'm like, yeah, I'm a work in progress.
I had a discussion with one of our guests of stating it's okay not to be liked.
Okay.
I was like, listen, it's okay. Post whatever you want. If you're comfortable posting, post. You know, there are some quotes maybe that I made a mistake on, for sure. But these are things you learn from, you know. So it's okay not to be liked. So I think that helped me push through all the cameras,
For sure.
all the posting,
For
me
sure.
always on social media, showing my face every day. It's not comfortable.
No.
It's not comfortable.
But then it becomes a new comfort zone once you've integrated it. And then there'll be a new level.
But the switch to do it takes at least a year or two.
It takes what?
A year or two, at least.
It's until you integrate something. And then you've integrated it, you're like, fuck, man, like, I don't even care anymore. It's still how cool, like. And then you'll be met with a new challenge where it comes up again, this fear, because it's in a different context. And then you're like, okay. Hello, my old friend.
Our latest guest left you a note. He didn't know you were coming, as mentioned before the pod. And he left you this quote. If you had to go back and change one moment in your life, what would it be? As I asked you before, regarding the button, you would not change anything.
No, but I know which one I would change if I could change it. There was one moment when I was really, really upset. I was in my 20s. I was really, really upset with my parents. And I exploded with them in a cab in London. I was so emotionally heated that obviously they couldn't understand what I was trying to say, and I was attacking, so they got defensive. And my intention was, please see me. I want to feel closer to you. But I did it in such a bad way that actually I pushed them away and I really hurt them. So if there was a moment that I could change in my life, it would be that moment. I would wish that I could have calmed down and understood what I really needed to say and have said it in a much calmer way that they could have heard me.
Did you ever discuss this with them, like after the whole situation?
A little, but not like this.
Right after the podcast ends, I would like you to
Yes.
leave a question for the next guest.
Okay.
Emma, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. I believe it was honestly a therapy session for me. As I end always the podcast, it's always therapy, discussing obviously open lives of each other and getting to know a new person. So I love this. As mentioned in the beginning of this episode, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. I honestly think that they should subscribe now.
Yes, obviously. I mean, support the guy. He's out here doing the work.
We're trying to provide free knowledge for you guys to intake and input into your day-to-day lives. Also, leave a comment on who do you want to see next, maybe even the best part of the podcast that you liked, and anything you want to, your thoughts, just put it into the comments. And also hit that like button. Emma, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I shake your hand?
No.
It was a pleasure meeting you again. Champions Connect out. Super.
Good job.